Let's dive into a really strong article on Friday that might have gotten lost in all of the other headlines from the weekend in Major League Baseball. Dan Hayes covers the Twins for The Athletic, did some really good reporting and had some interesting quotes come out of this story on the Twins' recent series in Sacramento. The Twins lost their ace, Pablo López, to a shoulder injury for probably a couple months. And actually, since that article, Zebby Matthews, who also pitched in Sacramento, has gone down with a shoulder injury. Let's bring up the pitching side of things first. Joe Ryan went through a similar shoulder injury last year to what Pablo López is dealing with. And he said about Sacramento, the first thing I thought of was Zach Wheeler saying, I was all arm when I was pitching there. Does that play into that? And he said, I don't think Pablo is the kind of guy that's going to say the mound was the issue, but I'll say it. They said the mound was, I guess, firm, rock solid, which happened to be the case with the batter's box as well, which we'll get to. There are a ton of issues, of course, with playing in a minor league park that's also getting double dipped with a minor league team. Do you think there's anything to this? Zach Wheeler saying I'm all arm and then these shoulder injuries popping up?
I think there's something to the field not being up to major league standards because they're also, every time they go on the road, it's being used by the Giants AAA team. So it never gets a break and the ground screw doesn't get to fix it properly. So it's always in use. Mm-hmm. And is there something to it? If they say there's something to it, I don't know. I didn't pitch, but I would definitely think that there's something to it. And, you know, this isn't the first thing with this whole thing. Severino's talked about it, and he pitches there. Visiting teams have talked about not being able to do their normal warm-up stuff. Hitters are having a hard time because they can't hit before they have to go pinch hit. So, listen, there's something to it. I don't know what, but if Joe Ryan says he thinks it is, then I'm going to go with him.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I don't know if you remember it, AJ, but Rogers Center, the whatever it's called now, or whatever it was called, the Sky Dome, the roof's open on a hot Sunday, day game. That joint gets like concrete, and it breaks apart. What if you started and it was wet and you wore moldeds? I never had the issue because I had metals on, but guys that wear moldeds, you're going to slide around later in the game. Now think about it if you're out in Sacramento and that field is being used essentially 12 straight days because they do get off Mondays when Sacramento comes in town. It's just not going to get fixed the way it should be covered and stay wet and stay tacky.
You know, you're talking about Toronto, right? Toronto, I remember Darren Ercet. Remember Darren Ercet? He was a pretty good player. Mm-hmm. He took a pitch in Toronto, and both feet went like this, and he went on the IL with a pulled groin. He literally just took a pitch, and it was so hard, and he had moldeds on, and both feet went, whoop, and he pulled his groin ice. And had to go there. Oh, it was unbelievable how brutal it was. We used to have guys fall all the time in Toronto. I was a molded guy. It had to be, I mean, it was like, that's the one park where you had to like dig in because it'd be like playing on this desk or like that slick concrete. You know, there were certain stadiums that had like that slick concrete and you had to shuffle your feet because if you stepped on it, you might, shoo, 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 shoo. It was like ice skating. Oh. That's what Toronto's home plate was like. And that's what I'm assuming Sacramento's is like.
That's totally. And that's a bigger thing than people, they don't understand. Like people are going to tell us, well, they need to suck it up. What's going to end up happening if enough pitchers or position players complain? Major League Baseball is going to step in and say, okay, well, we're going to help them and we're going to make sure. So they're just, you know, Major League Baseball is just, you know, covering. They're the helicopter parent for the A's right now until they get all this stuff figured out. Like, this should be the standard. This is why it's in the CBA. There's a standard playing surface. You go and play in London. AJ, you know this. You go and play in London. You go play in Mexico. The field has to be up to a certain standard that Major League Baseball makes it up to. And yet, you know what? The A's, they have a plight of issues. So we're just going to make whatever they want to do is fine.
Carlos Correa said it's the worst batter's box he's ever stepped in. He was overcompensating with his back not to slip, like many of his teammates were doing. And he eventually said, you know what? sitting out the last 2 games of this series. I'm not sacrificing 2 months of a season for a couple of at-bats here. He's also well aware. I mean, he's had injuries issues in the past. He said to test and confirm his hypothesis, he hit on flat ground in the indoor batting cages. He was like, I'm totally fine. So he was trying different things like borrowing spikes from Ryan Jeffers. And eventually he was just like, this is not major league quality. I don't want to get hurt.
Oh, well.
Guys used to go into Toronto when the turf was brutal in Toronto, and they'd come out of it. Oh, my back is wretched. I don't know how the Metrodome was. I mean, you were like 19 when you got called up to the big leagues, so I guess that's different. But
no,
there's different fields that are diminished.
Teams used to have to give guys time off in the Metrodome because we had the old crappy turf all the time. Now, we were used to it, so we could get away with it because we played on it every day. But teams would come in with some veteran guys, and they couldn't play them all 3 games because they were like, backs, hamstrings. It was just a different thing.
Don't worry, we're getting close to that time period in Sacramento where it gets to like 110 degrees. So maybe the batter's box will be less firm when it melts to the ground.
Yeah. And also the field will only get better because I'm sure they'll be able to, keep up with the water and being played on every day.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be awful. It's going to be awful.
Yep.
That's it.
That's why we talk about it. Then hopefully someone listens and works on it. I just want to say, before Arena Club, if you were trying to very actively buy, sell, trade, it was very complicated and used a lot of mail that was unnecessary.
Yeah, I didn't even know how to do it. But I'm glad we have Arena Club now because it's a one-stop shop for everything card-related.
It is. And right now, you can get 20% off your first slab pack or your first card purchase by going to arenaclub.com/FOUL. Use code FOUL. If you're a collector, you've got to check out Arena Club. Go get after it.
Hey, everybody. Be sure to like and subscribe for more content.
We're back here every weekday, all year long, so do not miss an episode.
The videos are coming in all day. Here's another video you might enjoy.
Baseball the way it should be covered.